Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. I am finishing up my potted, my garden, my container garden. It's over here. I have been doing this. I did this 2 days ago, and then I'm doing it again today. I'm going to pop in some clips and some voiceover from that. And the first day I did this, we had dinner out here and music playing, and my husband was I'm using the Blackstone, and we just had a bunch of life going on. And so it was worth it to me to record and do some of the stuff, but then have dinner and just enjoy the family time. Tonight, it's just me out here, and I just finished off some of these beds. With how much I'm using the hose and shoveling and so forth, it's easier for me to explain it in a voiceover. So I'm going to show you kind of what I'm doing, and then I'm going to show you what I have left to do, and that you will see on another video. Tomorrow we're going to have high winds, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're supposed to have storms and heavy rain. And so I need to stop what I'm doing now and get the patio ready because the sun is going down. I worked all morning this morning and went to a tulip farm. That was fun. I'll show you some pictures of that in the community chat. And then I'm going to get everything ready for this storm now and go inside and have some dinner because I'm hungry. So let's get to today's video. So the first thing that I did on Monday was unwrap all of my pots, take the plastic off, take all the packaging material out of the inside, and drill at least 5 to 6 holes in the bottom of each of these pots. I bought these at Sam's Club. They have 2 different colors. You'll see I have the light ones here, and then I have some dark ones against the house. They were about $15 each. I do have one other dark one that I bought at Home Depot for $20. I actually like that one better, but you can see with the number that we bought that $5 each in savings was worth it to me. It is really important to have drainage. These have spots for 2 drainage holes like that they tell you to put it in, but I absolutely wanted more. With how much rain we get, I do not want rotten roots for my plants. My phone battery actually ended up dying on Monday, and I ended up doing a bunch of the work without recording it, which was a bummer. But I have the gist of it all here. So basically, I have 2 different garden stores that I've gone to get soil. One of them, I took potting soil and I mixed it with some garden soil, and that's what I have in my GreenStalks and what I did last year. This year for these large pots, I decided to try a different garden center and do their Magnificent 7 or something like that. And basically, you have 5 bags of compost, and it's like cotton burr compost or whatever. And then you have 1 bag of peat moss and 1 bag of vermiculite, and you mix it all together, and that's what you use to plant it. And everybody's been raving about it, so I decided to go ahead and give this a try. This got easier and I got better at the ratio the more I did these, but it did work, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everything grows in them. I did also buy a gallon of fish fertilizer, liquid fish fertilizer for this year for the garden. So that's what I will be feeding with at this point, but I'm really excited to try out this soil with how much everybody raved about it. This is definitely a more manual labor way of doing soil. I tried to find the balance of
mixing the peat moss with the vermiculite and the bags of compost. And I think I got it down the way I'm supposed to. Now, I didn't want to water it while I was mixing it because I really wanted to make sure that it didn't get too heavy for me to move. And now you're going to be able to see the process from the beginning because we're now on Wednesday. So I water it down really well in the containers. And you'll see the combination here. This is peat moss I'm putting in. The first bag was the compost. This is the peat moss. I started mixing this in a lot better as I was going, and using the shovel right off the bat, which was important. Then once I had the peat moss and the compost mixed well, then I added in the vermiculite and got that mixed in to a level where I felt like it had the right amount there. I will tell you that soil is something that I have a hard time with. I'm in California. I finally found one that really worked well for me, and I can't find it out here. So Miracle Grow is like the thing out here, and I really don't like that. Fox Farm is another one that's really popular, but that's too expensive for me right now. And so I've been trying to find something else. And so I'm looking forward to seeing if this works. So you're going to see here what I was talking about with the watering. You don't want this soil to get hydrophobic, and this soil has been sitting and it is bone dry. And so it's really important that it really gets hydrated all the way through. So I'm kind of using the hose to stir it around and try to get as much as I can wet. And I really wanted to do this before the storm this weekend because I want all that rain to soak into the soil before I plant into it. I'll mix it around again really well. So I add dirt, I add water, I add dirt, I add water, I add dirt, I add water. And then at the end, I'm really going to add water, stir it with a shovel, and then add some more water again. And there's still dry pockets in there, but I'm trying really hard to get this as coated as I can. Now I have one more set of this compost, one more bag of compost and some vermiculite and peat moss to mix. So I'm going to use it for the last bucket underneath the window, and then to top some of these other ones off because they're a little lower than I want. And that will be a project for another day though. I'm doing all this at about 7:30 at night actually, and my husband was heating up dinner for me. So I decided to get everything ready for the storm. I tipped the wheelbarrow over on the side of the building, took the umbrella down. I'm going to move our chairs inside, move that potting soil over and in, and move our new Blackstone up against the building. All things that really just batten down the hatches basically. And I don't want things to be flying across the yard, and I don't want things to be collecting water are the big things. So things are upside down. Our new plants that I ended up buying one tomato plant, one pepper plant, and some more herbs. And so I have those in between the planters up against the fence to try to minimize how much is blowing. I'm using the potting soil and the dirt to hold down because that vermiculite and the peat moss is really light. So I put a potting soil on top of that. Just really trying to protect what we have. And I'm not going to plant any of this stuff out until after the storm because we might have hail and stuff this time around, and everything's pretty young. That was my husband letting me know dinner was ready.
And that's as ready as we are going to get. We will see you on the next video.